Hey everybody, what's going on? What's hot? What's hip? What's happening? What is shaking? What's shaking on your Thursday night? Hope everything's groovy for you. Hey, tomorrow night at 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, I'm pretty sure, I'm going to be on the Replayables on Shuli Network 2, the Shuli Network Dose. So, if you want to watch that, I'm going to be on it. Hugh says, what's up, Tom? Well, Hugh, tomorrow night at 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock Mountain, 6 o'clock Pacific, I'm going to be on the Replayables with Chris Abels and gang. I don't drink. I'll just be there, waiting to see somebody hurl. Chris Abels had an epic hurl last night on that show. I mean, as a guy who prides himself on hurl, not for nothing, but that was, wow. Terry Nee says, is it safe? Is it ever, Terry? Is it ever really safe? SG Fanboy is here. Good to see him. And Reverend Wild Bill says, hola, Senor Tom. The lovely and talented Sunday Jenna is here. I've had some very, very generous people donate via PayPal. And due to the way PayPal does things, I might have their real name. I might not have their real name. I really don't look at it that closely. I just know that I don't want to announce those things in case those people don't want their real names out there. But I am saying right now to those of you who have gone to paypal.me/Tom Gully Show and donated whatever you could, do I appreciate it. I really do. And like I said before, more than anything, it's a vote of confidence at this stage of the game. I'm not looking to make $1 million or nothing. It's just a vote of confidence that says, yeah, keep doing what you're doing. The same goes for patreon.com/The Tom Gully Show. $3 a month. Content I'm too, frankly, scared to put on the internet. And then if you want tons of old podcasts, I got several people requesting last night's interview with Ron Eckerman, who was a survivor of the Leonard Skinner plane crash. They said, where can I find it? Just go to the TomGullyShow.com. There's about 270 podcasts there with famous comedians, U.S. senators, musicians, authors, you name it. You can go there, and that's also where you can go to our store. You can also go to cafepress.com/The Tom Gully Show and get yourself a wide variety of quality name brand items. Terry Nee himself got one of our lovely clocks, big seller of the clocks, and they do tell accurate time. I have one here that needs a battery. But when I got it out of the box, I hadn't had it out for 2 years. It was still running. So anyway, whatever. Let's see here. Hugh says, was he the Duke of Hurl, Duke of Hurl, Duke of Hurl, Duke. Anyway, I think Gene Chandler says that. Is it Gene Chandler? I don't remember. Is it 137 times? Something like that in the song he says. Anyway, Terry Nee says you can drink Boost. Okay. Reverend Wild Bill says, hi, my real name is Harmon Lipschitz, cousin of Elmer Fuddpucker and Merlene Bugtussle. Well, I'm glad we got that out of the way. Got a pretty good topic for you here. It's not music. Although you could turn it into music. I just tried to drink from a completely closed soda can. That would have been a mistake, huh? Having my fun while I can. I have a very full weekend at the big fancy radio company this weekend. Big full weekend. Let's see here. Anything else to cover before we go into the thing with the stuff? And no. So, hey, Lemme. Sorry. Let me tell you about the Tylenol murders. Okay, some of you go, Tylenol murders? What Tylenol? Yeah. It was back in the fall of 1982 in the city of Chicago. Daddy was a cop on the south side of Chicago, back in the bad old days, back in the USA. In the heat of a summer night, in the land of the dollar bill. You guys, do you remember the night Chicago died? Anyway, it was back in the fall of 1982, city of Chicago. It all started when a 12-year-old girl named Mary Kellerman went to the hospital after taking just one extra strength Tylenol. And then she died the very next day. And on that very next day, 6 other people took a Tylenol for a headache and wound up with a much bigger headache, as they would eventually die from taking a contaminated pill. 3 of these people were from a family by the name of Janice. So they obviously were in the same household and all perished. Unfortunately, this happened in Arlington Heights, at least the 6 deaths. And there was only one public health official in Arlington Heights where the Janus family and 3 others had died. That health official, Nurse Helen Jensen, found a Tylenol bottle with the corresponding receipt that had been purchased the day the family went sick. Then she checked the bottle and found, she actually counted the 50-count bottle and found that 6 pills were missing. At that point, she turned the bottle over to investigators, along with her suspicion that the pills had something to do with the deaths. Eventually, the deputy medical examiner for Cook County, Dr. Edmund Donahue, suspected cyanide poisoning and turned the pills over to the county's chief toxicologist, at which point it was confirmed that all 44 pills contained almost 3 times the amount necessary to kill. At which point authorities said, don't be taking Tylenol for the time being. Now, the investigation continued, and it was determined that little Mary Kellerman and the Janus family had both taken pills from the same lot number, and I'm showing you that lot number right here on the screen. It was lot number MC2880 for those of you keeping score at home. Now, Johnson & Johnson, who makes Tylenol, immediately issued a recall, but tainted bottles were found for other lots, and the recall expanded to any bottles bought in the Chicago area, making it one of the largest pharmaceutical recalls ever. Several agencies participated in the investigation, and tampered pills were found in a number of stores. Jewel Foods, which is a big grocery chain, Osco Drugs, Walgreens, Dominick's, another grocery chain, and Frank's Finer Food. Now, Johnson & Johnson went into full damage control mode, right? They issued warnings to hospitals and distributors, plus they halted all production of Tylenol and all the advertising. After other occasions of tampering, in other parts of the country, strychnine found in California bottles, all Tylenol was recalled nationwide. That's 31 million bottles, and that's over $300 million worth of product in today's dollars that they just got rid of. Now, I'm going to show you a piece of video here because I don't think that I can impress upon you enough how scared out of their shorts everybody was. Because you didn't just start thinking about, hey, can I take medicine? Can I take NyQuil? Can I take Tylenol? Can I take any medication? You started thinking, can I take lifesavers? Can I take a candy bar? Can I take milk? Because somebody was poisoning intentionally with cyanide a very common over-the-counter product. So let me just show you something here. I don't know how much of it I'll show you, but this will show you how crazy this scare, which was kind of justified, really was at the time. Okay, hold on. I got to do something here. I always forget to do. I always forget to do this. Forget to do that. I don't think I should forget to do that. I think I should just plow right ahead. Okay, let's see here. Boom, shakalaka. And here's the sort of the audio. What in the bejeezel? Okay, here's the audio. This is going to freak you out just a little bit.
Cyanide-contaminated Tylenol has been responsible for 3 deaths in the Arlington.
Start that over.
Cyanide-contaminated Tylenol has been responsible for 3 deaths in the Arlington Heights area. Not take Tylenol until further notice.
Arlington Heights police demonstrated tonight how they have been warning residents throughout the day.
They're just driving down the street with a blowhorn going, don't take any Tylenol. People are dying from this.
And in Chicago, police notified all officers of the threat.
This product may be contaminated with cyanide and should be destroyed.
So that's the guy telling all the cops out there about it. That's your chief dispatcher there. By the way, I always love how Chicago police look. There's just something about them. Let me make sure everything's on the up and up. There we go. That is just something about a Chicago cop that just look. You know he's got a donut there somewhere. Anyway.
The first death yesterday morning was in Elk Grove Village.
That was
a
the little
12-year-old girl, Mary Kellerman.
Yeah.
And then in Arlington Heights, the deaths of 2 brothers and the critical illness of one of their wives.
That the wife would later die.
Now tonight, a 4th death in the DuPage County town of Winfield has been linked to the altered medicine. And in Downers Grove, still another death suspected of being cyanide poisoning. The bottles were labeled extra-strength Tylenol, 50 capsule size.
They were extra strength. I mean, to be fair, just not.
Lot number MC2880. Expiration date April 1987. If you have a Tylenol bottle.
Anyway, that's just a little bit to show you how I could go on and show you. Well, let's just get this guy who looks like he runs a drugstore or something real quick here.
We're taking off the shelf all the Tylenol capsules.
Their shelves.
We're taking off the shelf all the Tylenol capsules and anything with the code number MC on it. We're pulling everything off. We don't know if it's good or bad yet. We were just told to pull everything off.
One tainted container was traced back to this jewel.
Anyway, no word on whether that guy was a relative of Joey C. I know it sounds like it, but a lot of people from Chicago do sound that way. I'll show this. I've also got a picture here that's really gonna freak you out. Let me run through some chat real quick. While Bill remembers when this happened, it was a big deal, man. It was a big deal. Positive Patriot says hi. Tylenol Murders changed everything for packaging. Terry Nee is correct, and we'll get to that in a second. Dabbleverse royalty is here, the king of all dabblers. I don't know if I'm allowed to say who that is or not. But I'm glad to see you. Didn't know people are even aware of this show. Paz says, were you scared at the time? Yeah. I was, at the time, I was in collage, but I was always a guy that was heavy into snack food. You know, when I was younger, I always had some chips. I always had some O. Henry bars. I always had plenty of stuff. And you were just worried that anything you bought was going to have cyanide in it. You were terrified. Yeah, it made you question everything you bought over a counter. You know, it's like if they can tamper with a Tylenol bottle, I mean, that's medication, you know. Anyway, Terry Nee says, loudspeaker was the internet. Terry Nee says, it was huge. It was huge. It still kind of is. So the bottles were produced in Texas and Pennsylvania, right? And The police immediately theorized that the bottles must have been taken from shelves in stores, filled with the poison, and then replaced. And that's because more contaminated bottles were found than just those people who it had killed. So not only did they find the dead people in bottles that were contaminated with them, they found other bottles on the shelves that were contaminated and just sitting there. And those were in the midst of all these lots. So, they kind of said it would be really tough to only contaminate just a few bottles of this stuff at the point of production in two different places. Didn't think it could be done. It was more likely that people were going into these stores, getting some Tylenol, poisoning it, and then replacing it. So police, this is crazy. Police actually released a photo of one of the victims actually purchasing the poison Tylenol that was going to kill her. And they suggested that a bearded man in the background might be the killer. And here is that photo. I will make myself smaller so you can see it better. The green arrow that you see on the blonde woman in kind of the Annie Hall, suit with the white shirt, that's Paula Price. And that's the woman who is just about to purchase the Tylenol that will ultimately kill her. Now, if you see above her and back to the right, there is a man in a beard with a red arrow upon him, just next to my stylish StreamYard logo. And that's the gentleman that police theorized for some time was the killer. Now, they didn't know who he was, but they theorized that the FBI said that perhaps the killer would wait around a little bit and see if someone purchased and follow so they could see who he was actually killing. Whatever. I mean, whatever. But that's the actual, and by the way, I think Terry and Wild Bill and some others will agree with me. Footage of this nature was not that common in 1982. Okay? You didn't see that all the time, particularly not with, and I know you're going to call me crazy, with this amount of clarity. They were much worse cameras usually than that. But if you were going to have a camera like that, you'd have it in a big city like Chicago at a big chain like Walgreens or something. So the police did come up with some suspects. Now, one of them was a man called James William Lewis, and he sent Johnson & Johnson a letter. The letter stated he wanted $1 million to stop the murders. Like he was going to jump into the fray and stop this from happening. He even told police how the bottles could have been tampered with and put back on the shelves when they arrested him. He gave them the whole plan of how this could be done. Now, although they convicted him of extortion because of that $1 million demand, it was never proven that Lewis had anything to do with the actual killings, even though the Justice Department felt that he was the killer. They just couldn't prove it. Also, he and his wife submitted DNA samples. Neither sample matched anything found on the bottles or their packaging. And this guy didn't help his cause by looking kind of creepy, But this gentleman just died just this past July at age 76. Now, they had another suspect that they thought could have done this, and that guy's name was Roger Arnold. And he was a dock worker at two of the chains that sold the contaminated Tylenol. So Jewel, the grocery chain, and Osco, the drugstore chain, were owned by the same company, and he worked at their dock. He also did not help himself by being extra creepy, right? He had lots and lots and lots of books on poisoning, and he was always talking about poisoning people. And when this happened, he talked about it even more. The other thing he did, there was a bar owner that actually went to the police because this guy was talking about it so much. He said, look, I got a guy comes in my bar, and all he can talk about is this and how he would do it and blah, 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 blah. Well, that dude there, Roger Arnold, actually killed a guy that he mistook for the bar owner. So he thinks that someone's this bar owner, and he kills the guy for ratting him out to the feds. He was held by the police actually several times before they got him for murder, but he also had no DNA that matched anything on the bottles whatsoever. Here's another sort of weird thing. Because of the way this was done, at a certain point in his incarceration, the police tested Unabomber Ted Kaczynski, but his DNA also did not match anything on the bottles. Worse yet, copycat cases poisoned elsewhere with Tylenol began happening in New York, Washington State, and Detroit, even the University of Texas, and they were using strychnine and cyanide, so other people died during this time. And you were just thinking, when's it going to happen to me? When's it going to happen in my neighborhood? Now, the incident, as Terry Nee said earlier, actually caused the push for what we today know as tamper-proof packaging. Not only is our packaging tamper-proof, like this Advil that I got, but this is also child-resistant at the top. So it really did forever change packaging. I know you hate getting over-the-counter medications that you got to rip apart 3 layers of stuff, but this Tylenol incident is the reason why. Some would say it's the single-handed event that made all this happen. It also contributed to making pharmaceutical companies go to caplets. You see caplets all the time. I wonder if these are caplets. Yeah, these are caplets here that I'm taking. So a caplet is different than a cap in that it has an outer coating. So the regular stuff, a capsule doesn't have that. And the caplets are because of this as well. They are much harder to mess with and recreate. So that when you look in the bottle, you see something you think is a pill, okay, that matches the others. Much harder to do that with caplets. Tampering is a rare thing these days, of course, but for several months, I'd say almost a year, in 1982, the entire United States of America was terrified that anything from aspirin to milk to whatever you could find in your grocery store could actually kill you. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the story of the Tylenol murders, for which no one has ever been held responsible, and no one has ever been proven to have done it. All the suspects they thought were, these are the guys, they didn't match the DNA. So whoever did that, if they're still alive, pretty much got away with it scot-free. 972-994-6822 is our number to call. Of course, the TomGullyShow.com if you want to rock and roll with some of our old podcasts. And if you want to go to our store, which is also at cafepress.com, the Tom Gully Show, and you want to get, a fabulous clock or a shirt or a shot glass or a pint glass or a hat or other things. Also like to mention that we are now also, again, back with our friends of many, many years, Sonic Asylum Radio, the home of Metal Maiden Vicky and, George from the celebrated heavy metal band Halloween, and all sorts of other great shows. Very happy to be associated with those folks again. They are good people, and we always enjoy them. You might check out Metal Maiden Vicky's show on Saturday, and their chat room and everything else they have on their website. It's pretty awesome. It's her show is the closest thing that I've heard in forever to when radio shows were cool and the disc jockeys really knew the music and they could talk about it at length. She does a great job. She's a wonderful lady. So anyway, happy to be with those guys, and please check them out. Check them out. You can also go to paypal.me/Tom Gully Show, which, man, you people that donate to that, we're so far from being monetized. We're pretty close to 2,000 hours away. there's some old shows I could make public and we'd be much closer, but those shows have trolling and things on them, so whatever. Anyway, you can also go to patreon.com/The Tom Gully Show. It's $3 a month, and you get a lot of exclusive content. Frankly, I'm too scared to put on the regular wide open internet because some of it's dirty. It's dirty. It's bad. It's just dirty. Let's see what we got here. Something the king of all dabblers will do. He is the king of dabblers. The Kahuna's here. He says, hey, Tom and gang. How are you doing there, Kahuna? Terry Nee says industrial engineers made their keep after that. They sure did. Paz is here. He says, definitely was that Arnold guy. Could have been a false flag, too. I don't know how. But, you know, Reverend Bill says at the right dosage, they could have given an interesting trip. Yeah, unfortunately, they put 3 times the amount of cyanide necessary to kill in there. 3 times, little overkill, no pun intended. Star Mountain says, "Welp just came in at the end. Hiya, Tom. Hey, Star Mountain, how you doing?" Let's see here. Terry Nee says, Tylenol barely survived. Star Mountain says, I know George. George is still with us, isn't he? George is a really cool guy. He's had a lot of health problems, but George is with us. Please tell me George is with us. When you say new, I'm assuming you mean that you used to hang around with him. Brett Hollywood. Oh, man, it's awesome to see Brett Hollywood here. Brett Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen, is hilarious. This is the first time I've ever heard Time. I'll say Tom, maybe. He's a polished 90s radio guy. Good stuff. Well, I don't know about 90s. 60s? Rep Bill says, some of the old troll shows were pretty good. Well, the old ones, some of them, those are still up. I'm talking about the evil ones that have racial epithets and things that I don't permit. I'd take those down. So, Stacy Allen says, dirty. Gully's a dirty birdie? No way. Yes, some of them they're bad. They're dirty. They've got cursing in them. Stacy Allen rocks. I love it when Stacy goes, are you kidding me? I've met David Gray. What are you, a Fanuc? What kind of loser are you? I've met David Gray. Heard him sing. Star Mountain says, yes, I just haven't seen him in a while. Thank you so much, because George is one of my favorite people on earth. And I think more than his passing, it would upset me that I didn't know that he'd passed. But thank God he's with us. He's with us. He's so with us. Good. Whoops-a-daisy. Brett and Terry greeting each other warmly. So that's awesome. 9729. Oh, don't wait a minute. Somebody forgot to open up the software for the... Hold on a second. I thought I had done such a good job. I am really at a crossroads here, folks. I am starving, as I usually am this time of day, and I don't know what I want to eat. I'm thinking I might have to make a big, giant Chicago-style pizza. So that's a lot. That'll have me up late. The problem on Saturday and Sunday, Saturday my shift is 5 in the morning till noon, and on Sunday it's 5 in the morning till 1. And there's snacks available in the big fancy radio building, but I can't leave the building, especially on Sunday. If I could, I'd run across to McDonald's. But even if I did that, I can't eat in the studio. And I have to be in the studio because I'm I'm doing the news, baby, the whole time. So traditionally on Saturday and Sunday, I go over to that McDonald's, the company store McDonald's, and just order way too much stuff and chew my arm off. Don't know what I'm going to do about that today. Reverend Wild Bill was, first of all, he says, fire the manager, knowing, of course, the whole time the manager is me. Reverend Wild Bill says, pizza. Yeah. Star Mountain says, homemade pizza is the best, but you have to start early. Well, the pizza's ready. It's made. It's frozen. Takes an hour to cook. So if I get done with this at 7 or 8, I'm not eating until 8 or 9. Probably not a good idea. But I can watch TV or something, is what I was going to say. Let's see here. Paz says, just don't follow it up with some Chicago-style Tylenol. Well, here's the thing. Oops. There we go. I got to tell you, the sciatica, stupid thing. The sciatica, I don't care if generic is the exact same thing. I mean, I don't have any proof of that. The Advil just works better, man. I take it and it's better. It just works better. So that's what I'm taking. Oh, well, there you go. Yes, there I go indeed. There I go indeed. So yeah, the Tylenol Murders, those are bad. I think there's a made-for-TV movie about it and some other things, but at the time, I'm telling you, crazy. Cindy says, wait, you can buy Chicago-style frozen pizza? I can't find it where I live. Cindy, you've come to the right place. Come closer, child. There's a company called Geno's East of Chicago, and they make a frozen Chicago-style pizza. Now, I don't know that they have it in your area. I'm sure that if you asked your grocer, that they would order some just for you. A lot of people don't realize that. You can do that at a grocery store. You can say, hey, can I get some? Now, the grocery store guy might charge you a couple bucks more. In my grocery store, it is $9.99. And it's $8.99 a lot of the time with my little Saver card. I don't have my wallet with me, or I'd show you my Tom Thumb Saver card. However, just this past week, buy two, get two free. I'm paying $4.50 a za. So try out the Geno's. I like to put a little extra Parmesan on the top of it or something. Myself, it's just me. You can get it sausage and pepperoni, just pepperoni, or just cheese. And let me tell you something. You won't be mad at that just cheese. You won't. Anyway, just look it up. Email the company. You might have to email the company and find out where it is. I'm just saying. Terry Nee says, sciatica. Star Mountain says, wouldn't wish sciatica on my worst enemy. Sorry you have to deal with it. Oh, it does. It sucks. And you know what? It hurts the worst when I'm sleeping. That's the worst part, is I can't get to sleep. I end up coming out here and doing things on a computer. But Reverend Wild Bill says, the tainted Tylenol was on all the news back then. And when we watch our local TV stations. Yeah, it was on every channel, everything. And people were taking their stuff to the emergency room and having it checked, and it was crazy. Stacy Allen says, Chicago pizza. Are we going to get into this debate, Chicago versus New York pizza? No contest. Oh, I agree. You know what? It's just, first of all, we need to tap the brakes on New York pizza. All right? It's really good, don't get me wrong. But they make pizza in other parts of the world, all right? Can we get that off the table? Now, if you're talking a slice, just getting a slice, well, New York's pretty darn good. When I lived in Connecticut, and I know that's not New York, I got pizza from a place, and I'd get a whole pie. Oh, my God. It was incredible. It was fabulous. It was wonderful. But when you're really, 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 really hungry, I'm sorry, a Chicago pizza just fills you up with goodness and wonderfulness. I'm not saying which one's better. I think they're both great. But I think there's a time and a place for each. But man, oh man, I've had some really incredible pizza in places other than New York. And for me, it's just another thing that's overhyped about the city. God, I hated living in Connecticut. We're going into the city. What city? There's plenty of cities around. Oh, the city. Oh, you mean the one where I have to step over bum dung on the way to a theater or something? That city that's so awesome? Come on down here to Dallas. Guess what? It's clean. Chicago, it ain't that clean, but it's cleaner than New York. There's good things there too, don't get me wrong. But we just need to tap the brakes a little. Okay. Just tap the brakes a little. My hand gesture. Let's see here. So you like Unos? Not really. Sheena Jackson is back. I saw that. I was glad that she's back for her own, mental well-being. I think that's good. Star Mountain said, had Chicago deep dish at a popular spot in Chicago. Never forgot it. But New York pizza is great, too. In the Hudson Valley, it's more hit or miss. But in New York City, good stuff. Yeah, there's bad pizza in New York. Just like there's good. I've had some great slices in New York. I love getting a big, giant slice and all that. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying, can we tap the brakes a little bit? Who's the guy that runs Barstool Sports? He goes around and rates pizza all over the country. Oh, by the way, another olive branch to you New York pizza people. There was a time in this country, okay, when, you couldn't really find good pizza except places like New York and what. Man, when I was a kid, there was no pizza delivery for the most part where I lived. You had to go get your pizza. There were certain city locations and stuff that you might be able to get a delivery in Chicago or a big city, but not where I lived. And Pizza Hut, when it first started, that was a restaurant. You couldn't get delivery. Pizza Hut delivery wasn't available until 86 or 87. Reverend Wild Bill says Chicago deep dish. And by the way, there are some bad Chicago deep dishes. I'll be the first to say that. I've had them. But there's some incredible ones. Let's see. Stacy says, whoa, dude, I'm 1,000% Team New York pizza. Chicago pizza is gross. To each his own. To each his own. I like both. There's times when I'm in a mood for, just one slice of a Chicago style. That's a lot of food. Now I want to almost go fire up the oven right now and make this right after I'm done. And then there's sometimes I'd rather have, I'm telling you what, that place in Connecticut, I know it wasn't New York, but the sauce, it was, I would get a medium pizza from those folks. I would get a salad, a big salad, Italian dressing. And I would get some garlic bread with cheese on it. And, Uncle Jack says, Stacey Allen, correct. Philly cheesesteaks rule over everything. Again, no, I'm kidding. I'm not enough of a cheesesteak aficionado to say about that. Looney Tunes critic says deep dish is way too much of all the ingredients. Well, to each his own. There's sometimes when I want way too much of all the ingredients. The big thing about a Chicago style is if you just love the hell out of some cheese, that's when you want a Chicago style. It's when you want that cheesy, gooey 972-994-6822. Star Mountain says, I swear I couldn't eat for a day after one slice of Chicago deep dish. Stacey Allen says, Gully, I will fight you. Where's the wolf when we need him? There's no need to fight. You'd have to get a step ladder. I would just run around the ladder. There's no fighting. There'll be no fighting. I'm not going to fight you over deep dish. I'm not Stuttering John. And look, if you want to go mano to mano. Hugh says, I used to have that problem also, Tom. Spent big money for a good mattress, and that fixed that. Hugh, here's the thing. I have an incredible mattress. It's like it's like 6 months old. It's an amazing mattress. It's not the mattress, because I can come out onto my couch, which is really firm. My couch is like probably too firm. I can lay on the floor. I can sit in my cool 50s, mid-century modern chair. Nothing. If I get on my side, it's that side thing. I get on the side that doesn't hurt, and it's just getting perfect. I'm telling you, it's the sciatica is what it is. The Looney Tunes critic says, where did you live when you worked at CN? I lived at, I want to say, and don't hold me to this, 4th Street and Pearl. So if you're on 10th Street, which you probably know is relatively one of the larger cross streets there, and a street that comes off of Techwood campus is where I worked when I was at CN. Cartoon Network, for those of you not hip to the lingo. Did I put the box of, anyway. So I would drive down, go over, I want to say Juniper, and just a couple blocks down was a street called Pearl, and I would turn right on that and go all the way down to 4th Street. I'm pretty sure it's been a number of years, but I lived in a little carriage house, actually, behind some apartments. It was such a cool place. God, it was perfect. It was the perfect style and size of house for me. I thought I had died and gone to heaven. Man, was it awesome. Had a cool little living room, and I did everything mid-century modern. It was almost like a Dick Van Dyke Show house. The windows had cutouts that you could actually sit on if you wanted to. Then it had a little tiny kitchen. There was a utility area, and then a back porch, and actually a backyard. And then if you went the other direction, the bathroom, and you stepped up like these 3 steps to go into the bedroom. It was really cool. The girl I was dating at the time, I had moved to Atlanta for her. And so I think I stayed with her the first month I was there. And then I got this place, and she was just so happy because she lived in a regular old apartment. Star Mountain says, New York City sucks. Only went there to play and see shows. Otherwise, hell no. I think the band called The Band, said it best when they said, New York is an adult, or Levon Helm said, New York is an adult portion. He goes, New York, that's a town where, you can think you're pretty good, and you go there and you kind of get your ass kicked, and you go there a couple more times and get your ass kicked, but then after that, it gets really good. And I think that's the case with New York. There's a couple places there I really like. Obviously, I always enjoyed going to the Letterman show. I want to say there's a club called the Blue Note there. It's a jazz club that I really like. There's things there I really like. But man, the most money I've ever had stolen from me happened in New York. A bunch of bad things too. And by the way, it was only $20, but I'm still ticked off about it. Reverend Bill says, cheesesteak with white American cheese, no whiz. Okay. Terry Nee says, my first pizza was Chicago deep dish forever. See, you just depends. Reverend Wild Bill says, we got good pizza in Hotlanta. Little Five Points does have good pizza. Hey, you know what's another good kind of pizza is that Detroit style, which some people used to call Sicilian. But it's almost like it's square, and it's almost like a pan pizza in that the edges and the bottom is almost fried a little bit in the grease when you bake it. And then they have a big dollop on each of the square slices of sauce. It's not sauced all over. It's just a dollop of that sauce. And they usually use provolone on that. So good. Dave Portnoy. Yes, Dave Portnoy in his pizza rankings, he goes all over the country. Yep, the One Bite Pizza review. He does one bite, and that's your review. He did one the other day. He goes, I think this is just a gimmick. And it was a $50 pizza slice or something, but it turned out it was an actual pizza. But it was still, for $50, it wasn't, as much pizza as I'd want. And he ate it and he thought it was okay, but he just didn't think it was worth the money. But let's see here. Uncle Jack says, so no Pizza Hut? Hey, look, Pizza Hut, there was a time when that thin and crispy, they made it differently, and it was pretty awesome. But since then, Pizza Hut's pizza you buy for an office party when you don't live in a town that has a good pizza place. When you don't have a local chain or a local pizza spot that's good. That's the first thing I find out when I go to a new town is what's the local chain that's really awesome. Mr. Jim's here in Dallas. Pretty good. I think it's called Mr. Jim. They got a bunch of specialty pizzas. I'm pretty sure. Mr. Jim's Pizza. Oh, yeah, they're all over. But there's not one super close to me. What's that one? I'm not going to Wiley, for Christ's sakes. Yeah, the closest one is in Carrollton. Yeah, and I have a good friend that owns a pizzeria now, Alfredo's Pizza and Pasta, so I get the pizza from there. It's really good. They've been around since the 80s. Hugh says, Buck Owens said it best, I wouldn't live in New York City. They gave me the damn town. Wow. Stacey Allen said, best pizza, no joke, was Sal Governal's dad's pit. That was a pizzeria, wasn't it? Wasn't that a pizzeria? I loved how he used to pronounce that. Star Mountain says, the Looney Tunes critic, oh my God, had pizza and lasagna in Milan. No contest. It was all homemade by the venue owners. Wow. Looney Tunes critic says, I remember when Pizza Hut delivering was a novelty. I do too, because I did the first advertising for Pizza Hut for delivery in their very first delivery markets. I believe the first test market was Louisville or Louisville. Reverend Wild Bill says, Savage Pizza. Reverend Wild Bill, the Tom Gully Show has some photos from Savage Pizza with all my friends and the hot chick I used to date years after I left Atlanta, and she was still there, and we're still good friends. And my good friend, the late, great Greg Theakston, comic book illustrator to an inker to Jack Kirby and Stan Lee and everybody else. I know there's probably an album of those on my Facebook page. Love me some Savage Pizza. The other thing about Savage Pizza that's cool is all the comic book stuff in there. But Looney Tunes critic says, I am jelly, Doc. Who isn't craving pizza right now? I know I am. There's no question. I'm going to pop one of those Geno's in. The worst thing about Geno's is you got to wait an hour for it to get done. Star Mountain says that was back in 2004, and nothing has beat it since. The Looney Tunes critic says, Reverend Bill, we have a Savage Pizza here in Atlanta. Looney Tunes critic, that's the one he's talking about. That's the one he's talking about there. Paz says, do you think the Tylenol scare was related to this pizza debate at all? No, I hope not, because I'm having some pizza. Dr. Scotty Jones says, eating a rack of ribs, typing with my pinky. I was doing that earlier today with some fried chicken. Looney Tunes critic, there's two, Wild Bill, there's two Savage Pizzas now. Man. Hughes says Pizza Hut didn't deliver until Domino's came along and kicked their butt. Not just Domino's, but Little Caesars. People forget what a major player Little Caesars was. Pizza. You got two pizzas for the price of one pizza. Now, was it the greatest pizza? No. But when you got double the pizza, what did you care? Cindy says, I live in a town that boasts the biggest golf tournament in the world, and we have the worst pizza, mostly chains. The local places all use a sweet sauce, and I'm just not a fan. Sad face. Well, here's what you do, Cindy, and I did this for many years. I haven't done it recently. Make my own sauce. I use the Roma tomatoes. I want a rich tomato. So I make my own sauce, and I'll either get from the bakery at the grocery store, or I'll just get a Bobalee. Those Bobalee pizza bottoms are not terrible. And I make my own damn pizza. I just make my own damn pizza, but there is something about somebody else making you an awesome one that's kind of nice. You don't have to mess with it. Uncle Jack says, I have eaten way too many slices in my lifetime. Reverend Wild Bill says, Looney, I know all about Savage. I hung out at Little 5 Points, and it was eat at Savage or the Vortex. Can I tell you something about Reverend Wild Bill, Looney Tunes critic? Reverend Wild Bill was the proprietor of Wild Bill's, I want to say Cherokee Barbershop, or was it Apache? I think on 10th Street for, 30, 40 years. Reverend Wild Bill is baked into Atlanta. Now, he don't live there now, but when we eventually have him on, not tonight, but at a later time to tell his U2 story, that'll give you an idea of how networked Reverend Wild Bill is in hot Atlanta. Looney Tunes critic says, Uncle Jack, me too, Doc. A Chicago deep dish single slice is a meal for me. It really is. But I will eat 4 of them. I'll eat the whole damn thing tonight. If I make it, is Wild Bill still in Atlanta? Stuttering John always finds a way, doesn't he? Doesn't he? Reverend Wild Bill's up there in Covington now. Looney Tunes critic loved Atlanta, played Prague Tower there twice. Traffic sucked, though. Well, it does. Positive Patriot said, when did the sciatica start? It started about 10 days ago. Oh, come on, Wild Bill. I got comments backing up on me. Hi, and welcome. Hold on. Wait till the counter starts. Hi, and welcome to the Tom Gully Show. You're on the air.
Well, just tickle me. Hey, Tom.
Yes.
Yes. You are Tom.
I am.
I am me.
You are Wild Bill. There's no question about it.
I'm me, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to let Looney Tunes, I know a little bit about Atlanta. and you were right. It's Wild Bill's Cherokee Barbershop.
Yeah.
Apache was an insult, but not that bad. At least you didn't say Wild Bill's Cracker Barbershop or something like that,
Yeah, well, I knew one time I had said it wrong, so I wanted to cover my bases, but I did think it was Cherokee.
But yes, it's Cherokee, my nationality, yes. Wild Bill's Cherokee Barbershop, right down the street from where the great Olympic Village was. Joy. Boy, I got some stories about that town.
I know you do.
But Savage Pizza though. Yeah, there was always 2 of them. The first one was actually downtown, and then the second one went out there to Little 5 Points.
Yeah, I never went to the downtown one. I just went to the Little 5 Points, and I did eat at the Vortex many times. And wasn't there a Star Bar of some kind there in?
Star Bar was across the street from. At one time it was down on Euclid. But then when they did their little changing around, when Junkman's daughter moved up street, so did Star Bar, because Star Bar is across the street from Savage Pizza and Junkman's daughter, because Junkman's daughter, Savage Pizza, is just right down, a couple of doors down from,
that's
from Junkman's daughter. And then on the other side, you got the big skull there of the Vortex.
Right. Well,
and the thing is Vortex, Vortex has got 2 places, too. They got one downtown also. But a lot of people don't, more business people go to the Vortex and the Savage Pizza downtown.
Yeah, I don't want no part of that.
The normal people,
yeah.
The normal people go to the Vortex and Savage Pizza and Little 5 Points.
Yeah, and my buddy Greg Theakston, he liked the Star Bar. So
a lot of people. I know a lot of people who was there. My bartender, that I used from the club I went to. You know, I went every Friday and Saturday night to down there on Cheshire Bridge. He worked during the week. He worked Star Bar.
Yeah.
And Star Bar, that's a lot of live music stuff there at Star Bar.
Yeah.
But I only frequented it one time. That was when it was down on Euclid, actually.
How long was
at the theater?
How long was the Cherokee Barbershop around?
Ooh, well, let's see. Cherokee, the barbershop itself, in the general area of Bellwood, which a lot of people don't know what Bellwood is. Bellwood is over on Marietta Street, Northside Drive. That was
Right.
the area of Bellwood,
Yeah.
which is now considered part of Tech now.
How long?
But let's see, we were at Techwood. Dad was at Bellwood. Then he went to 10th and Hemp Hill up there at Miss Castleberry's building. Then Tech bought that out. Dad said, screw that. Next time they buy me out, I'm going to own the building. So he went to 10th and 3rd over there by the Humane Society. So we were in the area for about roughly 60 years.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. So yeah, Wild Bill knows.
We were in about a square area of about 60 years. I know a lot of stories about that place down there.
Yeah, I know you do.
I've been in a lot of the stories down there in that place.
Well, I know you have.
Matter of fact, I can remember when I became the official barber of 96 Rock.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, and did that. Well, that was when they had a promotion going on for Smashing Pumpkins.
Yeah.
And they hired me out to do some haircuts. That if they did got a haircut like Billy Corgan, that they'd get a free pass to go see. And it was at a recording studio, so it was very, very small. But yeah, I gave the haircuts. As a matter of fact, on that day, I even proved that I was the quickest barber in Atlanta. They asked me how quick could I shave a head. No problem, nothing. It'd be perfect. And I told you, they said, "You think you're doing less than that?" I said, "Sure. I'm confident. I know I can." And they didn't believe me. At 58 seconds, I laid the clippers down. They came over there. They could not find nothing.
Yeah.
Well, I could do a regular high and tight like you've got, but a lot closer and stuff. A marine haircut. I could give a marine haircut. This is no lie. A marine haircut, flat top, perfect. Horseshoe flat top, high and tight. About 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, mine needs some work right now. It's going to get cut tomorrow, but anyway.
Oh, I've got people to this day still saying, "Hey, look, we will get you a place. We will buy your equipment, everything, if you will come back and cut hair again." We have not had a haircut since you closed the barbershop down.
Yeah, well,
we have not found a bar. Well, barbers are a dying trade. But anyway, I just want to come on and let you know about the Savage Feet stuff. And,
okay.
And tell Looney Tunes anytime he wants to get together and find out really what Atlanta's about to give me a holler.
Okay. Yeah, he's not lying either. Anyway.
We'll talk to you later, sir.
All right, man. Thank you for calling in. I appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Looney Tunes, he is not joking one bit. He will come into town there, and you all will have one hell of a time. I can guarantee you that. Brett Hollywood said, "I lived in New York for 8 years before L.A. The pizza's good and everything, but it's abnormal how intense they are about pizza and bagels." Oh, I'm telling you, sometimes. When I was in New York, I was just like, okay, Yeah, keep telling me about race cars. You guys don't have a track here, and I'm from Indianapolis. Just keep. Always arguing in New York. Always. I'd go up to somebody and say, "What's a good Italian place? I'm going to date tonight." "Oh, yeah, Bertolini's." "You're stupid if you don't go to Bertolini. What the hell's wrong with you? You got Bertolini's. That's what you take people." Later on in the day, "What are you doing tonight, Tom?" "I'm taking a girl to this Italian place." "Really? What place?" "Bertolini's." "What are you, stupid? Everybody goes to Marinaro's. What are you, a moron?" It's just, I don't want to have this argument. I really don't. Not everything's an argument. And by the way, I'm starting to turn into you people, and you're going to find out what it's like when I want to have an argument. I had a guy, I went to a sandwich shop there one time. I said, "I'd like a gyro and blah, blah." And he's like, "I think you want a nice pulled pork sandwich." I said, "No, actually, I want a gyro. That's what I want. I know what I want. I don't really want to argue about it." "Yeah, I think I'm going to give you a nice pulled pork sandwich." No, you're not. You're going to give me €1. I'm taking myself and my 10 coworkers out of here. Oh, somebody's getting a little upset. You must be having a bad day. Well, I am having a pretty bad day, but it's not so bad that I'm working at a sandwich shop. And that's the moment I went, I'm turning into these people. I got to leave. Star Mountain says, the Looney Tunes critic, oh, yeah, nothing's worse than L.A. traffic. I thought we were going to die. Seattle's bad, too. L.A. is really bad. Tyler Schellenberger says, wonder if Stuttering John adds those extra nose drippings to his pizza. You know, how to add extra flavor to his pie. Yeah, well, first you just got to get it off of the... When he does that, it's just... downtown Atlanta was my tromping ground. Oh, yeah. Star Mountain says, Levon Helms was talking about back in the day. Lately, after COVID, it's been bad. Oh, I did not know that. But I like, Levon was very philosophical about it. He goes, you get your ass kicked a little bit. It's an adult portion. Star Mountain says, Joey C style pizza. Hey, Giordano's. You go to Giordano's. Looney Tunes critic says Seattle has a rep for being hard to navigate, especially during tourist season. I'm currently a big fan of the Mellow Mushroom. The Mellow Mushroom is a good place, by the way. JC said, I met Dave by a pizza place in Brooklyn. You met Dave Letterman? Looney Tunes critic says they changed their menu in 1990, and apparently that included a ton of grease. Reverend Wild Bill says, I used to go to Mellow Mushroom before the Rocky Horror Picture Show on weekends in Buckhead. I used to live in Buckhead before I lived at 4th and Pearl. Looney Tunes critic says, yeah, I was so disappointed when I learned that showing wasn't interactive. By the way, Looney Tunes critic, does that sound like a legit place, the place I described to you? Because if not, I'll look it up. And it was near that park. Oh, man, it begins with not Piedmont. Was it Piedmont Park? Anyway, it was down the street anyway on 10th. Reverend Wild Bill says it was 2 doors down from the cinema. Star Mountain says, sort of, we had GPS, so it wasn't so bad. I liked it there in a musical sense. Great metal scene, but a lot of tweakers and homeless. It was sad. Well, I got my stuff stolen out of the back of a U-Haul. They broke the lock and stole almost all. Luckily, I hadn't loaded it with the totality of my belongings, but I had loaded it with a lot of stereo equipment. And I called the police, and I told them that I was leaving that day, but could they come out and look in, and blah, blah, blah. And the cop was so great. He was, Mr. Gully, all your things is gone, and you never gonna see him again. I could send somebody out there tomorrow. And I just started laughing and said, forget it. He was at least honest with me, and I appreciated that. He said, Mr. Gully, all your things is gone, and you ain't never going to see him again. The old show is very interactive, but it changed bad after the 90s. Isn't that the way? Looney Tunes critics asking Stacey Allen, you've actually eaten at Sal's place? Did his dad try to make you Sal's latest stepmom? Stacey says, I have, and no, I was very young back then. Were they playing Sal's rap record in the background? Any upstate New Yorkers here heard of Speedies, says Star Mountain. I've never heard of Speedies. Uncle Jack says Pizza Hut and KFC have gone to a bad place. A bad place. Their thin and crispy used to be that. It used to be thin. It used to be crispy. There used to be a little bit of bubbles in it, but it was crunchy. The crust, not anymore. It's soggy. Looney Tunes critic said, hey, man, when you showed up, we were all talking about pizza. I take no responsibility. Dr. Scotty Jones says Pizza Hut rejected Ween commercial drink. Where'd the cheese go to? They reject a lot of things. Star Mountain says, Stacey Allen, did you witness Sal's dad beat him over the head with bread rolls? Looney Tunes critic and Jack having some interaction there. By the way, I will be on Replayables 9 o'clock tomorrow night on Shuli Network 2, 8 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock Mountain, 6 o'clock on the West Coast. I don't drink, so I'll just be waiting for people to hurl. Julian Caesar says, forget the fake Roma tomatoes. Get boxes of passata from San Marzano. They're in the supermarket. Incomparable. All right, well, we'll take it in a... Looney Tunes Critic says, I was a lifesaver, Little Caesars, was a lifesaver when I delivered a controlled substance in Los Angeles. I didn't get paid much, but you could on your own supply. When I was waiting for payday, I could run into Little Caesars, put down $6 and get a pie or two. I was a manager at Little Caesars back in probably 81 or 82. The Kahuna says, buy an Uni wood-fired pizza oven for your patio. Pizza in 90 seconds. They have awesome homemade pizza dough recipes as well. They are amazing. I just have the Stone, Pizza Stone. San Marzano is a place, not a brand. I thought it was both, but what do I know? The Savage Peaches I saw was in this weird corner of downtown Decatur. There's a lot of weird corners in downtown Decatur. Dr. Scotty Jones says part some word. Looney Tunes Chris says one in Avondale Estates. I just tried ordering for Savage. They're closed. Jerks. Closed for good or for the evening? It don't make no sense. San Marzano's Romas have the greatest, most unique taste. They are. My dad was a race car driver, says the Looney Tune Critic. My grandfather was. Kahuna says from Italy only. People are giving each other various hand signs. Stacy Allen used to work on race cars. She used to work in cable. Now she's in product development and is an AI specialist at the Shuley Network. The Kahuna says, Uncle Jack, brother. Uncle Jack had a great show last night with Prince Gratz or Edwin Snowden, whichever one you want to call him. Stacey Allen, really? Engines? Dr. Scotty Jones says Jerry was a race car driver. Jerry Jones, is that what you're talking about, Jerry Jones? Be Still My Beating Heart, Stacey Allen. Star Mountain says, Looney Tunes Critic, did you write Underwear to Guide or was that DJ Dabbles? If it was you, you're my hero. Reverend Wild Bill says, we used to go to Salvatore's. Stacey Allen says NASCAR, not Cup, but NASCAR cars. So Uncle Jack says, when you coming on? Oh, yeah, you got to get him to come on. Uncle Jack says, nothing better than a pretty woman working on a hot rod. Dr. Scotty Jones says, whatever happened to Lee Van Cleef? He died. When they made Escape from New York, Lee Van Cleef had this terrible back injury, and he might have had a broken leg too. Maybe something was also wrong with his leg. So everybody on set was freaking out because he had to walk around and stand and do all this stuff that he shouldn't have been able to do. But he was old school, Roger Corman, independent movie guy. He just did it. Lee Van Cleef was he did a lot of episodic TV shows. If you look into like all the old Westerns and stuff, and even the crime stuff, he was in all of them. And I don't mean just once, but dozens of times. He also was in great old black and white Westerns like The Tin Star. Lee Van Cleef and all those Roger Corman space age monster movie, Beast with 1,000 Eyes and Fiend with 1,000 Faces, whatever. Folks saying hi to each other. Uncle Jack says, anybody streaming tonight? If not, I'm thinking about going live. Might be going live. Star Mountain says, just KC, maybe Kenneth Pogue. When I read that, I see just KC. The other part doesn't. Looney Tunes Critic says, that's awesome. Uncle Jack, where can we find you? Uncle Jack's Jack Shack. Put that in. That's where you'll find him. Zulius Basworth says, you drink on New Year's, though, boss. I did one time. There's a thing on the thing. There's an 8-hour video of me one New Year's Eve having some libation while I'm on the air. But I rarely drink. It's very rude. Uncle Jack says, no need to read this one. Uncle Jack's, I just read it before, so don't worry about it. Boat Boy says, hi, Tom. Happy New Year. Just wanted to say that I think Trevor is a punk. Hope you have a good Friday. You know what? If it was only that reason, there's so many others. That just somebody that clearly doesn't know what they're talking about, but cannot be convinced they're not right. Kept telling him, you don't know anything about what I do. You don't know the first thing. Yeah, I do. And then turns out, didn't know where or what I did for a living. Still thinks he's right. I don't like to generalize by generation, but man, oh man, sometimes people just live up to it. Looney Tunes critics, they used to say the W word, Tom. It was legal, L.A. Well, I know that, and you know that, but I'm a role model to children. No, I'm kidding. I'm a role model to young broadcasters. Zulius Basworth said, Boat being duplicitous again. No, he's not. Me and Boat are buds, so lay off. Star Mountain says, ha, love it. On YouTube? Yes, on YouTube. Savage was closed for the evening. Man, they're closing early on a Thursday because there would normally be NFL football. Is that the downtown Savage or I got to think the little 5 Points is open still. Stacy Allen says, my dad was too, my cousin and my uncle. JC says Johnny was a race car driver. He used to drive so damn fast. So did Paul Newman. Uncle Jackson, yes, sir. My dad was a moonshine runner from Kentucky to Atlanta, says Wild Bill. Star Mountain says, cool, man. I'll subscribe. Dr. Jones says, I don't know what you guys are talking about, so carry on. Where Wild Bill says, then he took up barbering. This is a moonshine runner. Then barbering. Well, you pick your slots there. Dear. Stacy Allen, there's a lot of race car people in our family. It's family business. My dad's British, so we sell a lot of European parts for race conversion. Porsche 911, Mercer XR4 Ti, etc. I drive Jaguars. Tom, that would be the Comrade Snowden. Yes. Right. Everybody's got an alter ego now, and I'm getting a little tired of keeping track of them. The entire Catalano network now does not have their regular name. I love those guys, but and I'm not criticizing them. I think it's very entertaining. I just don't have a brain that can keep track of all that. Red Wild Bill says, I'm on a live at 8:30 in the UK. You mean at 8:30 in the UK or at 8:30, like 12 minutes from now? Your time, but the show's in the UK. I don't know what's going on. Great show, Tom. See you tomorrow. Peace. I'm assuming you're going to do that show in 12 minutes. Muted Grouse says, where's the true crime? Well, I just did a half an hour on the Tylenol Murders of 1982. So it's at the start of the show. That's where it's at. Looney Two Credits is laughing. Let's see here. Boat Boy says, I don't mind the sun sometimes. The images it shows. I don't either. The sun's fine. I like the sun. Karen Garvey says, JC, nice pull. I don't even know what's going on with JC. So, hey, Tom, good night. See you all around. Cheers. Everybody's leaving. Dr. Scotty says he never won no checkered flag, but he never did come in last. Well, there you go. Looney Tunes Critic says, I have stories about Paul Newman, Tom Cruise, and Brian Johnson. They were the famous clientele we had with the Fam Biz. I was 8 years old at Pocono Raceway Drive watching Tom Cruise come in dead last. What did he think he was, Danica Patrick? There's actually a documentary about a race my grandfather started at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway called The Gold and the Glory for African American drivers, and this was done during the 20s when my grandfather was a barnstorming dirt track racer of note. Let's see here. Zulieth Bassword says stuff that no one will understand here, but is it okay if I have it dream by you and I join? Yeah, it's okay, Zulieth. I really don't have any say in the matter. Excuse me. The Looney Tunes critic says it was Days of Thunder. He was prepping for it, 1987. Well, at least he was prepping for it. I'll give him that. Dr. Scotty Jones thinks that Danica is really gorgeous. I think she's a 6, but for a race driver, she's a 8.5. Didn't do anything for me. Apparently not that much for Aaron Rodgers either. Of course, he got rid of Olivia Munn, who's really, ooh, man. JC says, I know Dr. Scott. Some other person said Johnny, so I went with it. You and your confusingness. Agreed. At least she has that going for her. She's got a mustache. She's... Ugh. JC's got his thumbs up there. Thumbs up. Let me see what's going on in the world of the world in terms of YouTube. Danica is a California 5 and an Indiana 8. Oh, she's, I guess. They had her in all these ads where she's supposed to be all sexy, and I'm like, really? Really? Go sell crazy somewhere else. We're all full up. There's way better looking. There's a chick from Brazil or Venezuela that's way better looking than her. Incidentally, let me just point out, Danica Patrick has one more IndyCar victory than I do. And we're both tied for victories in NASCAR. You know what I'm saying? Just like to point that out. If she was a dude driver, she'd have been drummed out long ago. But she was good at getting the sponsors, and that's how the game is played. So I'll give her that. I don't see. Corn Diff is apparently doing a thing, which I don't even understand what the hell's up with that show at all. I find it relatively unwatchable. That's just me. It's hard for me to watch the puppet shows anyway. I'm like, what's that doing? Maybe, I don't know. That doesn't do anything to me or for me. So I don't see a bunch of stuff here, but I don't even know if I subscribe to KC. I'd like KC's show a lot better if it was more focused. Kind of just goes on and on and on. Stacey Allen said, oh God, none of you would kick her out of bed. No, I wouldn't kick her out of bed because she wouldn't get into my bed. She's got less curves than most of the tracks that she drives on. Sorry, does nothing. She won a pole at Daytona. Yeah, because there weren't any other cars on the track. You start putting other cars on the track and, well, trust me, no, doesn't make a blip. Sorry. Dr. Scotty Jones says cap lock. I don't know what that means. Oh, it means your caps were locked. Muted Growl says Tukey. That it? Let's see here. Danica Patrick's personality would make a freight train run a dirt road. Hey, Zulius. Gotta tell you, it's been nice knowing you, but I don't think you really want to be here. So, bye-bye. Bye-bye. We are the worst. And people are laughing, but no, she's just not. The other thing is, and I know Stacey will say that this isn't the reality of it, but it is for me. You can go onto YouTube and hear her complaining about things that are done on the track that she doesn't like. And I'm not saying that the other drivers don't complain too, but the ones that I've heard complain are like actually winning races and stuff, you know. JC says later for Zulius. Yeah, there's just certain things. That guy knows me and he knows who I am. And he knew that was likely to not go over very well and did it anyway. And so bye. I'm done with this notion that I get to sit and do whatever it takes to make a show, and I have to surrender my chat room to people with zero investment in what I do that just want to be the spotlight of attention and do things I don't like and then I don't think my audience will like. What idiot would do that? And I know there's an idiot by the name of Vince the lawyer that's like, nobody should ever be, with this dull-eyed, blank-faced, Boo Radley stare of, well, nobody should ever be blocked. That's silly. That's the dumb thing to do. Yeah, spoken like a troll. I have a home. I assume Vince the lawyer does too. People that I don't like don't get in it. Do the rest of the math on your own. Can she talk? Don't know who she is. Stacey Allen said, I agree. I never said she was a good driver. SHR brought her to their team for the money. Yeah, man. She's good at getting the money. She's good at getting the money. Even the IndyCar race that she won was like rain shortened and a bunch of other things. They were trying really hard to get her a win. But, whatever. I will say that I've seen her in some interviews lately since she sort of stopped driving and stuff. And I've seen her on TV doing coverage lately since she stopped driving and stuff. And I like her better than I used to. I really do. But I'm not attracted to her at all. No, thank you. Hey, I gotta. Has anyone seen this Mersh stroking out? I gotta see if I can find this. I might show it here on the program. I haven't seen it. And a gentleman by the name Emergency Merch has another stroke. Hopefully, the fine people at Pod Awful Savage Clips will not mind me showing this. Maybe they will. I don't know. Okay, let's just check this out, I guess. Munich Grouse says, in Vince the Lawyer's Democrat Party, they believe in free speech. Do they? Huh. That's funny. You realize free speech is, the First Amendment only protects you from government censorship. Anybody that wants to can censor you. Other than that, your employer, social media platform, anyone. So you can believe in it all you want. I think in Vince the Lawyer's Democrat Party, they don't believe in vilifying people and harassing their families either, do they? I believe in Vince the Lawyer's Democrat Party, people that dole out legal advice when the very first words of every single posting they have on YouTube says, not legal advice. Do they believe that in Vince the Lawyer's Democrat Party? Huh. The guy is a waste of skin. He trades in the misery of other people, and I hope he walks in front of a gas truck. Let me see here. Figuratively. Let's just see if my good friend Mersh, it's a joke, he says. Yeah, it's always a joke. It's always a joke. Let's go ahead and share this little screen here and see what's up with Mersh, our good friend Mersh. Okay. Had another stroke, apparently. He's doing a dab, which he really shouldn't be doing in his physical condition. Here we go. Okay, they're doing it again. I think they're making him do it again.
Shout out to Dayton Police for being like the most.
Let me see if I can actually find the part where he strokes out again. Because I don't want to just sit here and Is this where it happens?
Competent cop on the scene. Oh, God. Hang on.
This is awful. What do you expect, dude?
Female. She showed restraint.
That's just, if you can't handle your liquor or your food or your whatever, you shouldn't be doing it, dude.
How bad is Dayton, Ohio?
This is twice.
I'll put my headphones back.
This is twice. I love the oh
Competent
God.
cop.
Listen to the oh God.
This scene. Oh, God.
I'm so sorry. Oh my God. Sorry, I'm all blurry. Hold on, let me get my thing back here and just see if I can. Oh, I don't know why Mersh, when he does that, it just makes me so happy. It's just. Lucas Malago says, Angie is a great editor of clips. I greatly appreciate the content. Yes, please go to Angie's Savage Clips, Pot Awful's Savage Clips. That's where that came from. And man, oh man, they're doing the God's worth. Muted Growl is laughing. I don't know at what, but JC says, dude, when do you realize your life choices maybe haven't panned out? Cindy's says, VTL just wants to be relevant. He's chasing the 15 minutes of fame Howard gave him with the high-pitch Eric. I hope this comes back on him. Yeah, he's awful. Rumpled Trenchcoat, a Columbo podcast, which is a fabulous podcast, and as someone that owns the first, I want to say 3 seasons of Columbo, I highly recommend that podcast. He says, 3 strokes and you're out. Dr. Scotty Jones says, oh God. Oh God. It's about to happen. Goat says, ha 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 ha. Yeah, I was alive when Columbo was a thing on TV when it first started, and we never missed it. And it was the change in detective TV shows from whodunit to go catch 'em. Because on Columbo, you know who did it. And that's the fun of it, is watching Columbo sort of find his way. Other shows, you don't know who did it, and you're in the driver's seat there with the detective trying to figure it out. Columbo, how's he going to get this guy? How's he going to get this guy? By the way, the best thing also about Columbo were the villains that came on each week. Not always villains. I mean, sometimes one of the people would help Columbo, but just the really huge stars that would come on, many of whom were not customarily playing a villain, certainly not a murderer. So Dr. Scotty goes, just one more thing. You know, if I could ask my boss, he likes me to tie up loose ends. It's just one last thing. The pen and pencil set. Whatever. Tim Jenkinson says, when he asked just one more thing, they should have started running. Speaking of running, I hope there's a lot of running going on in the Arsenal midfield when Arsenal faces Liverpool for what could put us at least reasonably back in the title hunt. Because if we don't win that, and I'm talking Ty won't do us any good, we don't win that, we're in trouble. Dick Van Dyke was a particularly vicious murderer, very against type. Man, there's so many of them that I like. I like Jack Cassidy. I liked William Wyndham. I liked Robert Culp. But he played some roles that would indicate to you. Edward Albert, you know, if all you saw was Green Acres, that one would have woke you up. Anyway, and there's some good female ones too. Wasn't Jessica Walter? Is she the one I'm thinking of? There's some good females as well that were the guest stars. Dr. Scotty Jones says Rosebud. Tim Jenkins says Arsenal and Liverpool will drop off and Man City will win again. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying it's all going to come down to De Bruyne when he comes back. Because right now, Man City are very fallible. Now, if De Bruyne comes back and they get their act together, yeah, they could run the table like they did last year. But it's been a number of years. Not saying you're wrong. I'm just reserving judgment on that because the tire tread is starting to wear a little thin there. It just depends. I never knew Columbo had a glass eye. Peter Falk? Oh, yes. Tim Jenkins said, were you a Diagnosis Murder fan? You know, I was. I that kind of a bubblegum show, kind of a poor man's Murder, She Wrote. But I did really like it. The characters were good, and it was a good show. It was a good show. I love Monk. If you really want mine, for Monk is the one, because Monk's a lot like Columbo, as you know who did it. Dr. Scotty Jones says, have a good night. I'm off to watch some NHL. Oh, hey, go watch that NHL there. Go Tampa Bay Lightning. If you want to watch some ECHL there, you're going to have to be rooting for the Fort Wayne Comets now. You know, there's only one way to play this game, Dr. Scotty Jones, and that's with a big heart and a big bag of knuckles. You know what I'm saying? Rumple Trenchcoat says he jokingly referred to it in the newer episodes as he recruited the killer to help find an item, and he said three eyes are better than one. Actually, Peter Falk is in maybe my favorite comedy of all time, The In-Laws, and he is spectacular in it. Anyway, we've been on a long time here, and I'm probably just boring you all to death. Once again, happy to be back on Sonic Asylum Radio. Give them a look at sonicasylumradio.com. If you like heavy metal, you're going to love them. And even if you don't like heavy metal, Metal Maiden Vicky's show on Saturdays, she's got all sorts of kind of music that she plays. It's a really great show. It's a really great station and a lot of really great people. So there's that. You can always also go to thetomgullyshow.com. Tons of podcasts, other things. We have a store there. You can also access that at cafepress.com/thetomgullyshow. You can get great things like this clock that Terry Nee got, and shirts and hats and other things. PayPal.me/Tom Gully Show. So many people have been kind enough to donate a little to our cause here since we're not monetized. And man, I so appreciate it. Thank you so much. Patreon.com/The Tom Gully Show if you want to get exclusive content I'm too scared to put on the internet. So at any rate, let's get through some of these final comments here, and then I'll hit the closing theme and make me a pizza. Muta Grouse says, remember Father Dowling Mysteries? I do. Tom Bosley. Tim Jenkins says, have a good night, Tom. Have a good night yourself, sir. JC says, peace and chicken grease. JC also says, buy a clock, you scallywags. JC, are you who I think you are? Did you play a guy named Morton recently, just so I don't give your name here? Brett's Hollywood Show says, the Glad Trash Bag guy always reminded me of Father Dowling. That's because he was Father Dowling. Let's see. Julian Caesar says, my mom loved that Angela Lansbury mystery show. That was Murders, She Wrote. JC says, I love my job. Well, you could be anybody. JC, is that Jesse? Or is that... you guys just tick me off with your confusing nebulousness. Rumple Trenchcoat says, Tom Bosley was on Murder, She Wrote, at least. Yes, he was on that too. He played the... that's who I thought it was. I said, did you play someone named Morton? Bosley was the sheriff. Brett Hollywood says, I know. I know that you know. That's what makes it funny. Nobody loves some fake ignorance more than me. I was talking to a lady that teaches yoga the other day, and I went, "Oh, I love yoga." She goes, "What kind's your favorite?" I go, "The kind with the fruit in the bottom." And I looked at her completely seriously, and she didn't know what to say. And I started laughing because I'm like, I did what we do there, Brett. Brett Hollywood Show is a funny dude, man. Brett, I got to tell you, I loved the constant Kevin Brennan's partition pantheon of jokes that you've been doing. They're so good because I don't think that partition gets enough abuse. It's like that dude acts like he invented comedy and podcasting and all that stuff, and he's making all this money and he's got a partition. Rumper says, home run, Cumia. Gene Caesar says, that made me LOL. Okay, that's going to do it for tonight. I guess with all that being said, the only thing left to say is replayables tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Mountain, 6 o'clock Pacific. And till next time, we'll see you next time.
Right out of my pants.